Hello everybody. Now you may have noticed that I've not been making videos, and the reason for that is that I've had, honestly, the worst man flu. I think it's some sort of genetic cross pollination between the Black Death and Ebola, maybe, I don't know. So I've not really made any videos because I got to the point I was really pushing through trying to do reviews. The last few reviews you might have realised I wasn't very well, and I couldn't do it. There was days where I couldn't talk even, like it was pretty bad. And I know I complain about being ill a lot, my immune system's shit, it's just one of these things, can't help it. Anyway, so I'm 7 reviews behind on the 31 Horrors of Mike, but don't worry, I'm going to get through them. I'm going to try and get as many done tonight as possible. I've got my Hall Soothers for my throat. I've got a big bottle of water. I've got some cough medicine. I've got some vitamins. And I've even got a torch just in case there's an apocalypse somehow. Anyway, so let's continue with 31 Horrors of Mike. Again, I'm really sorry. I know it's meant to be a daily review, but I couldn't continue on. And I wish I had like a backlog of the videos done, which is kind of what I did last year for parts of it, which would have covered me while I was ill, but it's been really pretty awful. But starting to feel a bit better now, at least I can talk. I might cough a little bit during these reviews, so I do apologise. But anyway, there we go. I want to talk about the 13th film in my 31 Horrors of Mike, and the film I'm talking about is Cabin in the Woods. Now, this is one that was requested by Jackie Boy 777666, and he actually requested a number of films for the 31 Horrors of Mike. And the funny thing is that Cabin in the Woods actually was in my list anyway, because it was probably the most recent horror film that I actually think is worthy of being in the list. I'm making it sound like it's some sort of really great high accolade to be in my list, but it's the most recent horror film that I've seen that I thought was of a particularly high quality. Now, the reason that I wanted to watch this film is because Joss Whedon was involved in it. My bottle just cracked there, I don't know what it's doing. Joss Whedon was involved in the film, and I'm quite a big fan of Joss Whedon. Firefly is just one of my favourite television series. Gutted when it got cancelled. Thought he did a good job with the film, tying up all the loose ends. I think he did a good job with Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, although I'm not massive fans of that. I still think he did a really good job. And he was also involved early on in stuff like Alien Resurrection, but we won't talk about that. And more recently, I thought The Avengers was an absolute triumph. So I was interested to see what would happen when Joss Whedon was involved in a horror film. So it was released this year in 2012. It stars Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Fran Franz, and it also has some great, I wouldn't say they're cameos, I'd say they're important characters in it, but like Bradley Whitford and Richard Jenkins, who both are familiar to me from the various films that they've been in over the years, and I think they're both great little character actors. I think it was really great casting having those two involved in the story. So Cabin in the Woods is directed by Drew Goddard, who's a writer primarily, but he did a great job in directing this film. Now, when you hear a title like Cabin in the Woods, you think, well, it's going to be your standard Evil Dead type of film, or is it going to be another sort of Eli Roth type of movie? We've had so many films about teenagers or people in their early 20s, college students, going out to a cabin in the woods, and it's something which a lot of people are pretty sick and tired of. It's very rarely done well, and even when it is done well, they're normally covering old ground, stuff that's been done in previous films. And what's great about Cabin in the Woods is that it's a self-aware, it's a postmodern take on that subgenre of horror. Not just that, but also the genre of the slasher film as well. So Cabin in the Woods starts off with a group of young, attractive people, as they normally are in horror films, who are going out to this cabin. One of the characters, I think it's his brother, has bought this cabin, and he's going up there. And once they're up there, a number of strange things obviously start happening. But this is the thing. It's not like a normal film because there's a parallel story which is going on throughout the movie, and that is that you're in this sort of office environment in this. It feels almost like a government complex, sort of secret Area 51 type thing, and you have people there who are actually involved in, for some reason, it's made clear later on in the film why they're doing this, but what their job is to make these horrific deaths occur, and they do this through a variety of ways, through releasing strange supernatural and evil creatures onto poor unsuspecting teenagers who are in these sort of environments, and it cuts between the group of teenagers in the cabin and between these people who are just trying to do their job, you know, and it's a great take on a tried and tested horror formula, which is teenagers in a remote, you know, sort of Friday the 13th type thing with these, you know, the slasher genre in there with people chasing them. I don't think I'm giving away too much when I say that that's what's going on, because it kind of opens up with the people in the sort of complex trying to talking about like what their job is and stuff like that. So it's not too much of a spoiler when I say that. I'm not going to tell you why they're doing it. That becomes clear as it goes on, and it constantly jumps between the kids in the cabin and the people in the underground complex, and it's just a really great way to give this sort of fresh take on horror. Now the funny thing is, it's one of these films which is both a criticism of a genre, but is also a very effective entry in that genre. And reading some of the things that Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard have said on the run up to making the film and afterwards, was that they were really sick and tired. There were certain types of films, horror films, that they really enjoy, but they were also sick and tired of certain types of films and how they were made. And yeah, so it's really taken apart. In many ways, I think this is this generation's Scream. Scream took apart the slasher genre. It was very much a great criticism of the slasher genre, but it was at the same time a good slasher film as well. And that's what this is. It's a great criticism of not just the slasher genre, but I think of sort of gore-infested films and your typical teenagers running away from unstoppable evil. But it's also a good entry in those types of films. It's played. There are a lot of really good laughs in it. The acting's great. I particularly enjoyed Fran Franz in this. I thought he was really great as the sort of stoner. So when you're first watching, you're kind of like, oh god, here's your typical stereotypes. You know, you've got your jock, you've got your stoner, you've got the virgin girl. You know, you've got the sort of hussy cheerleader. You know. But you realise, and there's a great moment in the film where like one of the characters is kind of like, why is everybody acting like this? He's never been a jock before in his life. She's never been promiscuous. What's going on, you know? And I think it's because they're being manipulated by these people in this underground complex. So I thought it was a smashing film. I really did. I look forward to watching it again. And it's one that I really would thoroughly recommend. What's good about it is that it's really funny. It's a great it's enjoyable, but it's got some genuine scares in it as well, I think, which I mean, it's not a terribly frightening film, but for example, the people that come to the cabin to slaughter the teenagers, they are actually quite creepy and scary, and that's why I'm saying it works as an entry in that genre, but it's also a criticism of it. And I just think it was a really smart entry into the horror genre, and I'm really glad they made it. No doubt we'll probably get, because I think it was quite successful, no doubt we'll probably get watered down sequels, kind of what happened with Scream. But for now, the first entry in this series is really great, and I hope that Joss Whedon goes again and tries to make another horror film. I'd really like to see him direct a horror film, to be perfectly honest. It would be good to see, but Drew Goddard did a fantastic job here. So that's Cabin in the Woods. Go and check that out. Thoroughly recommend it. Great film. Regardless of what company you're in, maybe not with kids, but you know what I mean. Like even people who aren't that into horror, I think would quite enjoy this film. So go and check that out, and I will come back probably in about 5 minutes with another review, because I'm trying to get as many done tonight as possible. As always, you can leave some suggestions about films that you want to see, because there's still time for me to fit some stuff in there. And also, please do go and check out my Facebook page down there, and like it if you can. And I've got a Tumblr account as well, because I'm trying to promote my book, which is going to be coming out soon. If you're interested in that, go and check that out. Alright, thanks a lot, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.